Well, Bahamians apparently spoke loudly and clearly, rejecting those amendment bills. The nation's leader, meantime, said unlike the gaming referendum, which was an opinion poll, the results of this constitutional referendum will stand.
Juliana Ferguson has more from the Prime Minister and members of the Constitutional Commission.
The voice of the people has sounded in the land. It needs to be respected and honored, and it will be.
The nation's leader, Prime Minister Perry Christie, summing up the rejection of the 4 bills by the Bahamian electorate as a fair, transparent, and open process that he says ended in a clear result. Noting that this is the second referendum under his leadership, Mr. Christie says it will allow the voice of the Bahamian people to be final.
Although yesterday's rejection of the gender equality bills is clearly a setback for the program of constitutional reform, it is by no means an end to it. Instead, the program of constitutional reform must continue, Mr. Speaker. How and when and in what form it will continue will be the subject of further consultations.
Now, when the dust settles, the Prime Minister says there will be room and time for proper reflection. MP for Marco City and United Democratic Party leader Greg Moss taking issue with Christie's response to the results.
I think it's imperative that insofar as one version of what has just transpired has been said in the House just now, and insofar as it amounts, frankly, to an insult to the Bahamian people and our Bahamian democracy, to phrase it in that way without giving proper credence to the voice of the people that was expressed in yesterday's referendum.
Meanwhile, Constitutional Commission Chair Sean McQueenie noted that of the 73 recommendations to amend the Constitution, gender equality was one that both sides believe needed to be dealt with first.
The government wanted to have a bipartisan effort, and the opposition made it clear that they would only make it a bipartisan effort if the first round would be limited strictly to gender equality issues. And that was understandable because the FNM saw that as unfinished business from 2002 when they had brought a gender equality referendum and it had failed. So the government said, okay, fine, we'll go with that.
He and fellow commission member Brandis Duncanson believed that many factors contributed to a no vote.
There was a lot of suspicion, a lot of distrust, a lot of talk about hidden agendas. And I think at the end of the day, what may initially have been a concern just about Bill 4 and Bill 2, I think just reached a point where people said, you know, screw this, man, we're going to vote against all 4.
I think it was a mix of religious fears, homophobia, xenophobia, I think all coming together, you know, I think contributed greatly to what we saw yesterday.
Now, in the wake of what the Prime Minister described as a vigorous and fractious debate on the bills, he says now is the time for nation healing. Juliana Ferguson, ZNS Network News.